After my near-death experience, I was left with a dilemma. What to do now with the stuff that I've seen. I returned home like pretty well recovered very quickly, but I couldn't forget the things I saw. I couldn't just make sense of it. The contrast that was like it was so huge between the reality of the true reality that I've just seen. I remembered it so clearly, and the reality that surrounded me back here again in the physical life in 3D, all these walls, this body, this food, these people there around me, all of it, like it was so clear to me that all this is not real, because I still remembered the process, how I assemble each of these things, like how I create, how like the steps, how I materialize my body, how I create the objects in front of me. I still remembered the steps, the process. I knew I'm creating this, so it was so obvious that this is not real. So I couldn't make any sense of, like, I couldn't find any reason to participate in this reality. Like, it was so, like, it's so fake, it's so unreal, it's so clear to me that this is not real. So why should I do something? Why should I get up and go somewhere? Why should I work? Why should I eat? Why should I interact with people? Like, no point. That was the feeling that I was left with, remembering that reality and dealing with this reality at the same time. It was just like too much for me. I couldn't handle this contrast. And I felt trapped. I felt basically that there's no way out of here. I have to do this, but I know that it's pointless. So I felt depressed and like trapped, basically. So the best thing I could come up with at that time was to do nothing, just to exist. I just continue being. I just laid in my bed doing nothing. I wasn't going anywhere, I wasn't eating, I wasn't losing weight at the same time. I was just like existing in the same state for days and weeks and months. And after a few months of such existence, like I pretty much lived like a vegetable. I don't know, like fully healthy and fully conscious and fully aware, but I was like a vegetable, I don't know, like a plant or a tree. I was here just because I have nothing else to do. And after a few months of such existence, one of my friends just pulled me out of my house, like convinced me to go outside and do something. Just like kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pulling until the day when I said, okay, all right, let's do it. He offered to go windsurfing, go to the sea. It was summer season already and people are windsurfing. Why don't you at least watch, maybe try, maybe, and just see how it goes. And he convinced me to participate in something at least. So that was the first thing I did after a long while, and this activity somehow pulled me in. Like the energy started moving. Like I started observing things. I started actually enjoying, like interacting with people and with water and with trying that windsurfing for the first time ever. And things started moving so fast, and one of these days, one of these windsurfing days, I suddenly got a job offer right there on the beach, and it sounded pretty attractive to me at that moment, and I was bored. I had nothing to do actually. So I said, yeah, why not? That sounds interesting. Why don't I try? And it was, I couldn't, I didn't realize at that moment that my interaction with people, how it will go. I didn't know at that moment. So the moment when I started interacting with people, with big groups of people in like a big collective, like doing things and trying to achieve some like goals set for me at that moment, things just started going out of hand, because I was still able to perceive that reality, and I started participating in this reality very actively. And what started happening is that what felt like as if I was losing my mind, because I couldn't be like totally normal. I couldn't be totally like human, interacting on normal human terms with everyone, because I would be talking to someone and the person would be like telling the text, like he would be saying something to me. I would be hearing the text that the person is saying, and I would be hearing his thoughts at the same time. So I'll be hearing like two streams of text. One is what he's actually saying, and the second one is what he's thinking at that moment, like his true intention and his words. And in most cases, those two streams were not matching. And as you can assume, that started driving me crazy, because like I thought, like, what's happening to me is not normal. Like, I shouldn't be hearing two streams at the same time. I should be hearing only one, what the person is saying. But I couldn't stop it at that time. I was just like, and after it just started coming so fast as a wave. I started hearing things, hearing people's thoughts, and seeing like their intentions in different forms, like in words, in colors, like colors of aura. I would see the dominant energies of the person as he is walking into a room, or when he's talking, and all of that, like the amount of information that I was receiving at a moment of time was so overwhelming that of course I was not ready to handle it at that moment, because like the warrior in me was still very active, because like this, if you like, if we think about it, being able to read people's minds is more of a quality of like a priest or a shaman, or somebody with like of a higher level, like of spiritual advancement. But the level with which I was still associating myself was a warrior. Like, I felt like a warrior. I felt like there's truth for which I have to fight for. And with this attitude, hearing people say one thing but think another would just like, I would get so angry. I would just like get angry. Like, I felt it was my job to find the truth, to prove to that person, like, I know what you're actually thinking, like, and I have to fight for it. That was my attitude, like, throughout my whole lifetime until that moment. I was always for truth. I had to prove and fight for what I feel is right, what I feel is real, and that was who I was up until that moment. And I couldn't just give that up. Now that I have this ability and I see what person actually intends to do, and what he announces as his intention, and when it doesn't match, the anger that was arising in me, it was it was something. So of course, as you can guess, the workplace just started going, it just created so much mess in there, but I lasted for a while. And this whole experience, like, after a while, it started going more and more wild. It was like snakes materializing out of thin air, like bats flying out of my workplace, and like, it was just getting more and more weird. And I was questioning more and more my sanity. I was like, yeah, am I just mad? Maybe I just lost my mind in that near-death experience. Maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I've always been schizophrenic, and it's like so many opportunities there to uh, assume. And after a while of this self-torture at that workplace, I just decided to just give up my fight for truth, and just it was easier to assume that I'm crazy. Okay, I'm schizophrenic. I'll just go back to my previous state of doing nothing, just being by myself. At least I'm not a danger to anyone, and I'm not disturbing anyone with my craziness. So I left that job, and I resigned and decided to just like close myself back into my room. And at that moment, the friend who brought me to windsurfing was the same person who suggested me to see a doctor who lived in Istanbul, in Turkey. A doctor that he knew was able to cure schizophrenics and people with like all kinds of mental disorders and stuff. And he said that this doctor had helped him at a certain point of time in the past, and so he recommended that doctor to me, suggested and offered to take me there. I had nothing to lose at that moment of time, so I agreed. And so we went to Turkey, Istanbul, to see that doctor who was supposed to fix my schizophrenia. And the day I came to that doctor's office, he asked me to just describe my symptoms, describe what's happening and what is it that I'm seeing and hearing. I basically retold the story, things I hear, like the black color, like black cloud, seeing a black cloud instead of a person. Like I felt that's weird, that's like not healthy, and hearing things that person is not saying, which often contradict to the text that person is saying, and then weird visions and dreams and all kinds of voices that I was hearing. There was like just so much happening at that moment. I just told to the doctor, and his words surprised me. Let's say the doctor said, I will not treat you, I will teach you if you accept. That was the surprise. He said, everything you're seeing is real. It's the true reality that you're seeing. I will just teach you like how to use this skill like properly, how not to be afraid of it, and to understand that it's actually skill. Like it's not your imagination, you're not crazy, you're seeing the reality as it is. You just need to learn how to operate with it, how to deal with it better. Well, once again, I had nothing to lose, so I agreed to be taught instead of treated as a patient. So that's where I've the whole awakening, like official awakening journey for me began right there, because at the moment where my insanity was accepted by someone said that I am not crazy and the things I'm seeing are real. That was the main door opening for me. That battle between, like my inner battle between trying to solve that contrast, like which reality is more real, like am I crazy, am I not, is that reality more real than this physical one, like am I bad, am I good, am I, like all these my inner battles were like soothed by someone saying that you're fine, you're okay, what you're seeing is real, you just need to get control over this ability. And that's where it started, basically. Once I accepted the offer to be taught, the teacher gave me like his book, the book that he wrote like a few years back. At that time he asked me to read it. That would be like a beginning, and I took that book with me, took it home, and the same night I started reading. And what happened was just on one of the first pages of that book, I saw the image that has been in my mind all throughout my childhood. That I remember, like all throughout my childhood, that image of a circle with a dot was like something that I've been keeping in my mind as a note. I remember that it was like there, like just remember it. You'll need it one day, one day. Just as long as you remember this image, you're safe, you're fine, you'll be okay. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that circle with the dot in your mind. That's the message with which I reincarnated, like entered this lifetime basically. And I like held that image all in my mind all throughout my childhood for as long as I was able to remember it and focus on it. After a while I basically gave up on it, but the moment I opened the book and I saw that image on one of the first pages, it just snapped, like it just clicked, something just like. And that was the moment where I remembered like why I was leaving that that note for myself as that symbol, like that, what it was like. I remembered suddenly everything that it symbolized for me in my past lives, and that ability to integrate that reality with this reality, like this ability to integrate this contrast, this absolute contrast, like black and white, into one, to fully experience the oneness of these complete opposites of like circle and the dot, of everything and nothing, of emptiness and fullness, of like male and female, like night and day, and all of these pairs of opposites, they all melted into one big understanding and huge realization. It just snapped, like everything just snapped in place in that one moment with that just one basic symbol. And after that, I felt like, okay, I'm on the right path. There is just still a lot of work to do to integrate this knowledge somehow, to be able to use it. So, like, my studies were basically, I wasn't basically studying. I was more of, it was more like recalling the past skills and past knowledge, and the teacher would be just kind of like, for me, he served more as like a light. Who he kind of like scratched the surface, helped me to remember what I where I left off on my previous lifetime. And I received my first initiation from him. He was like, officially he was a doctor with official practice, but he was also a shaman in this Turk tradition, to which I used to belong in lifetimes before this one. So just reminding me a few of the techniques used by shamans. Like, I didn't have to study, I didn't need to learn, I just needed to see it once, and I remembered, and I was able to use that skill like as if it was with me always. So there is a difference between learning and remembering. That if by like a side note, if any skill in this lifetime came to you very easily, like playing an instrument, or like whatever, a language, or like a cooking ability, or whatever, anything that came easily to you, it's not because you're a prodigy and you're talented, it's because it's memory. It's never a talent, it's never a gift. It's always a memory of past skills and past lives, something that you've been doing and studying and learning and practicing for ages and ages. Then you acquire that skill. It's in you, and in this lifetime you just need to be reminded. You just need like a little scratch to activate that memory, and that's why some things are easy to learn, because it's not actual learning, it's remembering, and other things are hard to learn because it's something that you've never done before. So for me, all this rituals and all the shamanic and magical and esoteric stuff was pretty easy. It was coming very easily because files were like unzipping, as if they were like in me, downloaded for a long time, and somebody just needed to click unzip and it was just like available to me. So very quickly I received like everything that I was able to get from this specific teacher, and I realized like that I need to he doesn't have all the tools I need for this lifetime. His role was to activate, to help me remember the beginning in which our paths had already crossed in lifetimes ago. And his task was to just help me remember that. And after that I had to go on with my own journey of exploration, finding other keys in all other places. But the role of like a physical teacher was basically to give you a permission to allow you to accept yourself, to allow you to be who you are, and solve that dilemma, like, am I schizophrenic, or am I genius, or am I crazy, or am I talented? To just that role was the role of a real physical teacher. And after that, very quickly, I gained ability to connect with spiritual teachers. As soon as I learned the ability to move in between frequencies and move focus on specific information in the field, learned how to download information directly from the field. That's when I didn't need physical teachers, like any human teachers anymore. It was more about training myself, getting better with the skill of aligning with my true self, with my higher self, which already has tons and tons of information, and it already has answers to majority, to all of my questions, basically. And my task is not to search for information. My task is to align with myself as perfectly as possible, and to open up and to formulate the question very clearly, and to be open to receive the answer, and then unzip it, have the space inside me, enough disk space to unzip that file. If it's big, then I need a lot of space. So that's from there I started moving in direction of creating of the method that I teach right now, and it is it was the first step in that part of the awakening journey. That's where it began. And after that I moved on, searching for the other keys that I left for myself from other reincarnations, where I was living in more northern territories, and up further up north and to Europe, and studying more those esoteric traditions of that area. And I will record a separate video, I guess, about that, so to not make the videos too long. The awakening journey began there. From there I started moving and collecting the other keys. I hope you enjoyed this part of the story. I'll go on in my next video.